the silver lining for Steelers fans. The Kenny Pickett era is underway. Finally, we've waited for it. I correctly predicted that he would play in this game. And I'll say this, at least he gave the Steelers a chance. And I'm going to say this too, Andrew. Not all interceptions are created equal. And he had 3 interceptions. There was one that was really costly late in the fourth quarter. But all in all, I think that the Steelers offense moved the ball. There was a lot more energy. Like, from a Jets perspective, did you want Trubisky to stay in the game? Because the Steelers offense was extremely stagnant in the first half.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely was hoping Trubisky would stay in the game with how the game was going through the first half. And you said it right there at the end, Mark, energy. You could just see that the Steelers stadium was dead through the first half. The Jets got out to a 10-0 lead early, and it seemed like all hope was lost. Trubisky was the quarterback, and nothing was going to improve. As soon as Kenny Pickett came on the field, all it took for him was converting a quarterback sneak on a 4th and 1, and the stadium erupted. And I think on top of that, you saw that the team really rallied around him as well. They were able to generate more push in the run game. Kenny Pickett was making plays with his legs to keep drives going as well. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. And you really saw that entire team, stadium, fan base, sideline, everything really kind of come alive and have a shot in the arm once Kenny Pickett got in the lineup. I think that really says something. And I don't think the Steelers even make the comeback that they did to where they were in the point to surrender it at the end without Kenny Pickett coming in the game.
I'm with you there. And I say not all interceptions are created equal. The first pass that he throws is in the interception, a 50-50 ball to Chase Claypool. He's 6'4". I'm actually okay with that. And it almost served like an arm punt. Now, the interception that you have to avoid is when you have a lead late in the fourth quarter. Defensive back Michael Carter II makes a diving interception. It was a great play, but that's just a ball you cannot throw. And that's something where Mitch has been a lot more conservative in the 4 games that he's played, probably doesn't make that throw. And Kenny Pickett even said after the game in his news conference that that's just a pass you cannot make in that situation. And the Jets take advantage coming back from a 10-point deficit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Pickett in particular, that's going to be a learning situation where he threw it late. He's going to the sideline. He's got Freiermuth on Sauce Gardner on a 2nd and 15, I believe it was. And he's going through his progressions off the snap. He gets a little bit of pressure, pockets closing in, and he sees Freiermuth late to his right, and he throws it late. And that gives Sauce an opportunity to recover. He messes up the throw, or the catch, but I should say, when he's coming in, closing on Freiermuth. Ball's high. Freiermuth tips it up in the air, and Carter II's able to come over and catch it for the interception. That's just going to be the learning moment for Kenny Pickett. Is the next time that happens, just throw the ball in the stands. That you don't need to be trying to force that ball in on 2nd and 15. Yes, you have a lead, but taking time off the clock, getting into 3rd and medium or 3rd and 15 and punting and taking the Jets even further away than they were, that's going to be best case scenario. But that's what you can expect of a rookie quarterback in his first start who didn't practice to start all week. And that's the other thing to remember with Kenny Pickett is that he wasn't taking first team reps in practice this Trubisky was. So he's been preparing, coming in, not getting the same sort of chemistry with this first string offense. And that's when you're going to have miscues like we saw on that interception. But that's not, like you said, not all interceptions are created equally. I didn't see anything from Kenny Pickett in this game that made me go, oh my God, he shouldn't be playing. Or anything that made me think that this was too big of a moment for him or that he wouldn't be able to be capable of succeeding. I was quite honestly very impressed with what I saw from Kenny Pickett, and that play included, even though it was a bad ball, that's a rookie mistake that pretty much every rookie quarterback in league history has made, and you expect him to iron it out in the future.
And this is coming from an outsider perspective. Again, Andrew Golden, the host of Bleav in Jets as well. And this is why I'm happy to have you on, because we get sometimes too inside baseball when you're covering just one team. Sometimes you need that outsider perspective to see that. And to me, again, it was the energy that was just different. That 3rd interception at the end of the game, Hail Mary, I'm not going to fault any quarterback for giving his team a chance at the very end of the game. So that was his 3rd interception. Andrew, I got to point this out, though. 10 of 13, and his 3, incompletions were interceptions. Kenny Pickett didn't have an incomplete pass in his debut. And again, he didn't practice all week long. So there's your silver lining. I know you don't want to throw to the opposing team, but 10 of 13 in a debut when you didn't have a full week of practice to prepare as the starter, which is the reps that Mitch took. We'll see what happens moving forward. And it leads to, is there any argument that Trubisky should be the starter moving forward, because I could tell you this as someone who's watched the first 4 games. I don't see any point. Trubisky hasn't shown through 4 games anything, because I go back to even the lone game that the Steelers have won this season, opening week against the Bengals. They win the turnover battle in that one 5-0, and they only win by 3 points in the fourth quarter. It's why they put Pickett in, because it's just like it got to a point where it's like, this kid can't be worse than Trubisky has been. And when you get opportunity and chance after chance after chance after chance, to me, it's what do you do with those opportunities? And then your body language doesn't lie. And as soon as Pickett went into the game, there was a different energy, not just from the fans in the stadium, but also the players on the field.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely and totally agree. I don't see any reason to keep trying the Mitch Trubisky experiment. Quite honestly, if it in a random dream scenario here, say you keep playing Mitch Trubisky and say he starts playing better, what does that do for you? What is that, where does that help the Steelers organization now and in the future? Because if Trubisky is playing average, he's still not playing good enough to be great or elite, which is where you would always want to have the quarterback position in the NFL. On top of that, he's keeping this first round rookie that you just drafted on the bench, taking away reps and opportunities for him to learn. Kenny Pickett, like it or not, is the future of this team, at least for the next handful of years. And whether it's going to start now going into week 5 after Mitch was benched at halftime, or it's going to start maybe the week after if they bring Mitch back, or whenever it ends up officially starting, even though it seems likely that it already has started, that's the future of the Steelers. And so whether Kenny Pickett is good or bad, the Steelers need to find that out as soon as possible, because in the off chance that Kenny Pickett doesn't work out, now you have to go find someone else. And you can't be wasting time treading water with an average to below average veteran quarterback that's looking for a home, that has shown time and time again that they're not going to be able to perform well enough to stay in one spot for long enough. I don't see any reason to keep playing Trubisky. I think even if Kenny Pickett plays worse, he gets valuable experience. He gets to adjust to the speed of the game. He gets to build chemistry with the starting offense, and that's going to bode well for him in the future, even if this year ends up being pretty rocky. You got to be thinking beyond just this year if you're the Steelers.
The chemistry portion, I think, is very underrated, because other than George Pickens, he doesn't have the reps with Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth that a regular starter would have, that, say, Ben Roethlisberger had a year ago. Now, what you're experiencing in New York is the exact same reason why you draft Zach Wilson, because you look at the quarterback talent in the AFC, and specifically the teams in your own division. You're accustomed to going against Tom Brady when he was in New England for years. You got Josh Allen to deal with in the AFC East as well. I'm looking at it from the standpoint where it's like, look, just put this on paper. This season, which quarterback would you want to have? Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, Trubisky / Pickett. I don't care what the upside is. I don't care if Trubisky or Pickett were playing at as high a level as they're capable of playing at this season. They're coming in 4th place in that argument every single time. So you've got to be able to keep up with not only just the teams in the conference, but the teams in your own division. That's something you're accustomed to in New York. And that's why you bring in Zach Wilson. That's why you have to be excited for him in year 2,